y'all. This is She Buys It with Whitney Nicely.
Yay! Hello. Welcome back to the She Buys It podcast. I have a beautiful woman from Greensboro, North Carolina with me today. She is wholesaling, she is specializing in tax liens, and working a full-time job. Y'all are going to love Andrel and everything that she has to tell you today. I'm so excited. Thank you so much for being here with me. Was there anything else that I need to let the ladies know before we get too far into this conversation?
It's time for us to dominate.
Woo! Yes. Oh, I love that. Yes, it is.
Absolutely. So I'm excited. Thank you for having me on your show.
Absolutely, yeah. So tell me how you decided to get started in wholesaling, and what are you doing for a full-time job that you said, you know, maybe I need to do some real estate too? Like, what happened? And then we'll dive into your first deal.
Actually, 2006, I went to school to be a real estate agent. And when I probably within the first couple of weeks within that class, the instructor actually said, well, if you want to be an investor, you don't have to take this course. And he said it to the whole class. And that piqued my interest because at the time, I only knew about real estate by becoming an agent. Yep. So when he said that, I was like, okay, so if there's another option, then I want to kind of tap into that. So I stopped going. I didn't, you know, I was like, you know, I'm going to try to figure this thing out and just try to be an investor. So long story short, I was introduced to someone and they told me about a local REIA, and that had to be maybe around 2010. So between 2006, 2010, I was still trying to figure it out. But around 2010, I joined my local REIA. So within that group, it was brought to my attention. I was, you know, networking with someone, and he said, you know, I received this check by wholesaling, and that was my first time hearing about wholesaling in 2010. So at that point, I was like, well, what do you do? And he was like, well, you know, I take, you know, I found a property, I have an investor, and I kind of take like a middleman clip. So at that point, I was just like, okay, this is something that I'm probably interested in. And so I started networking some more, and it was a guy there at the event. He was a landlord, and he was stating that he was looking for properties. So at that time, I was like, okay, he's looking for properties. All I have to do is find a house and then try to wholesale this thing. I didn't have the correct contracts. I didn't understand the numbers or anything like that. And one of the other gentlemen that was actually in the REIA, he invited us out to Barnes & Noble, I believe it was at the time. And so when we went there, we sat down and he was like, well, I have this house that I just completed and I'm looking to sell it. So in my mind, I was just like, okay, he has a house. I know someone that's looking for property. So I called the landlord and I was like, hey, well, after he told me about his property, I was like, hey, I have a property you can come look at. And so he said, okay, well, give me the address. He came to the address, and I mean, the house, the other investor pretty much was trying to, I guess, sell it close to retail. I had no idea. So I mean, at that point, I was just like, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just not going to do anything. So I stopped. So during that particular time, I actually, I was working a job, so my focus was still pretty much on my full-time job because I didn't have all the pieces of the puzzle. It's, you know, wholesaling right now is everywhere. You can go on YouTube. So back then, we didn't have that. We didn't have where we can go to YouTube or kind of tap into resources like we do now. And I am a systematic person, so I have to have A, B, C, D, let me know how it works. Fine. I didn't have that, so I paused it. And just to step back a little bit, but when the recession happened, that was my my first entry into real estate. I purchased my home the year that the market crashed. So from that, it taught me a lot in regards to finances. And so I decided to do a financial consulting business. And with that, I started a challenge that went viral, and I ended up getting a feature on Forbes. So Forbes did an article on me about that. So this is my mindset. I was like, okay, now I know about finances. I am going to start coaching women and teaching them about these things. So for the most part, my financial consulting business has been on the forefront. Real estate was on the back burner because I didn't know anything about it. 28 or fast forward to 2016, I went in to start trying to go back to revisit wholesaling, but I wasn't consistent with wholesaling. Like I would go out one day, find properties, and then I wouldn't do anything else. So again, my consulting business was at the forefront. So I was just picking up wholesaling, putting it down, and I didn't have any type of system or anything with that. And at the end of 2018, I said, you know what? When I started seeing younger women dominating in the industry and literally retiring from their jobs and buying duplex, I was like, you know what? The consulting business is good, but the real estate looks a little better. So I said, you know, in 2019, I'm going to make a commitment to go and put the real estate at the forefront of everything. And so by me doing that, I was able to make more than what I make now on my full-time job on a part-time basis.
Ooh, I love that. Let's make that money, honey. Ooh, I love that.
So, you know, dedication, being persistent, you know, and I know whenever I put my mind to something, it's going to get done. But sometimes you can hear a message that you're not quite ready for. And I believe that was me prior to me taking it serious in 2019. But the results from that, you know, being dedicated and committed to it, it speaks volumes. So now,
what happened in 2019? Did you find that piece of the puzzle you were missing, or did you find A, B, and C, or what?
Well, I actually through a networking event, what year was that? I want to say around the 2016 year mark. I met a gentleman at a Millionaire Mind Intensive Training, and he lives in a city over from me, and he wholesaled. So I knew of wholesaling, and because I was in the financial space, when women or whoever I was coaching at the time would come to me and they're like, oh, I need to make some extra money, I will always tell them, start wholesaling. I will refer them, okay, get into real estate. And so the gentleman that I met, he had a course. So I would just tell people, go and, you know, talk to him, and they actually made money.
Well, let me just throw this in. I teach women how to wholesale, so you can send them to me now.
Oh, I'm definitely going to send it to you.
It's called First Deal Done Fast, and I help women get their first deal done fast.
Okay, I need your information because
it's all on firstdealdonefast.com. So yes, I love that.
Yes, so I referred out so much that he was like, you know what? Here's the access to my course. So he literally gave me the course access, and then that's where my ABC step come from.
Nice.
You provided so much value to my business. You know, here's the course, and anything else he came out with, he just gave it to me. And I was like, I wasn't even expecting.
That's
so
awesome.
I had contracts. I knew what to look for. I knew the language. Everything was right there in the course. And so I had it there. It was, like I said, it was just on the back burner until the end of 2018.
And you said that was a Millionaire Mind event that you met him at?
It was T. Harv Eckert.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask. He is fantastic. And he's a pretty old dude, isn't he? Is he dead? Like, he's kind of like Napoleon Hill, isn't he?
Well, he's, I don't think.
He's not that old?
It was a good event either way. It was like a 2 or 3 day class or something, but it was.
And that's an awesome book. If anybody's looking for something, pick up a book or get some YouTube knowledge off T. Harv Eckert. Yes, absolutely fantastic. Or if you get a chance to go to one of his seminars or programs or whatever, go check that out, because it's the right people with the right mindset that we all want to be around, right?
That's right. Absolutely. So that kind of, you know, I had the information there. And so at the end of 2018, when I sit down and do my yearly goals, I was like, you know what, starting the 1st of January, we're going to go in and we're going to go ahead and put the real estate in the forefront. And so, and I literally had to take time off from being as consistent around July-ish because I'm working on a project, but I still had deals coming in through referrals and everything like that. So with just that short amount of time, like I said, I was able to make more than what I make now on a full-time basis.
So how many deals did you do last year? How many wholesale deals did you do?
Last year I did about 10. Then I had a couple of JVs.
Awesome.
I had a couple of JV deals in addition to, so yeah.
I love it. I love it. And Greensboro, North Carolina, that's a good hot market. So if you can get in and start wholesaling there now, I love it.
Good. It's like a sweet spot. And I'm not sure if you heard of Max Maxwell.
Yes.
Yeah, so he's right next door. He's in Winston, so.
Fantastic. So tell me a little bit about the tax lien. What are you doing?
The tax lien, I did a joint venture with that one. And so, and that was just a learning experience because I was at another event, and at that event, one of the speakers was talking about tax liens and investing and how you can partner and do this and that. So they also talked about, you know, taking your 401k, leveraging your 401k, using that to invest passively into tax liens. So that's what piqued my interest, because I'm like, okay, I have my 401k is just sitting, so why not leverage it? Which is now what I'm teaching women to do. Awesome. So I took my 401k and I purchased a tax lien in Washington, D.C. So that's a commercial unit. It was a commercial. It's residential. It's a residential condo, but it has a commercial space on the first floor of that.
Nice.
And so we have a lien on that we're still going through the process of getting all the kinks worked out with that, but that's what that was. So that was my first experience with tax lien investing. And now I'm looking to, I actually partnered up with another woman. Oh, she's actually in a different state, but I partnered up with someone else. So now we're coming together to do a program forward to teach women how to passively do that using their corporate resources. So that's kind of like my sweet spot of helping corporate women, because this is what I do.
Well, good. Well, I love to see women helping women. Is Absolutely. There anything else, any parting words that you want to tell the ladies that are listening?
I just want to say, stay committed. First of all, make your mind up. Understand what your why is, why you're getting started, what that why is for you. For me, I knew it's going to be time freedom. So that's why I wanted to get started, that time freedom, financial freedom. And then stay committed. You know, there's so much information out here now that I see. And like I said, it wasn't here when I first came on board. So I get this a lot. A lot of people are like, oh my God, where should I start? I don't know what to do. There's so much information. It's do this, the flips this, the bird method this, the wholesaling, the tax liens. And so they get stuck because they don't know which way to go. So my advice to anyone that's starting is figure out what you need most. So if you need building capital first, you might want to look into wholesaling. If you want more passive approach, then you might want to look into crowdfunding or investing in tax liens or something like that. But pick one thing and then focus on that thing until you become successful, and then move up to something else, you know. So
I love that. I love that.
Yeah.
Andrel, thank you so much for being here. Y'all don't forget to subscribe to our podcast, subscribe to the She Buys It channel on YouTube, check us out on Facebook, all those awesome things.
And I need your information to refer my ladies over to as well, so that way they can get into wholesaler, because I'm like, I don't have a course. I'll try to give you different outlets, so that would be perfect. Absolutely.
Awesome.
All right.
All right, we'll do that.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Bye now.
All right. Bye-bye.